And we are back here live at NAB 2019 from the show floor, and we are at the booth of OWC Other World Computing with the founder, Larry O'Connor. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, my pleasure. Glad to be here.
I was a Mac user for a long time, and I knew you guys originally as MacSales.com, and not necessarily Other World Computing, which I know you've always been. What's the story of that?
Well, MacSales, I mean, we were focused on the Macintosh, Apple products. You know, MacSales was a national domain, and the other big thing was we couldn't get Otherworld or OWC at the time.
Who was OWC? Was it like Oregon Water Company or something?
No, it was a big old financial company, and you know, they sort of respond, but I mean, it was they never had a domain up for it. They used it for email. They had actually registered that domain about, I think, 91 or 92, a few years ahead of my personal, how to say, first endeavors onto the web, so to speak. So they had it. They used it for email. They were large. They actually had changed company names, you know, long before I even started to really go after trying to get it from them. But you know, it wasn't very important to them. They're a multi-billion-dollar. Well, the owner was a multi-billion-dollar financial company, and now OWC is OWC.
So, again, back in the day when it was MacSales.com, you know, even though it was still Other World Computing, it was known as the place to go if you needed a memory upgrade or a drive upgrade for your aging Mac. Back then, they made Macs that were still a lot more easy to modify, you know, the old Mac Pro towers and such. How have you seen things change? How has your business changed since then?
Sure. Well, I want to say one thing. We're still MacSales.com. Yeah. MacSales.com is still the place to go for upgrades for everything. I mean, we still have the service that when Apple puts, I shouldn't say when Apple puts barriers up, but when Apple makes it difficult, you know, we try to take those barriers down, pull the curtain back, and make it as easy as possible to still service these machines. Even the iMac Pro, we support memory upgrades into. Some of these things users can do, other things we recommend, you know, be sent into a professional. But MacSales is still MacSales. OWC, though, over the course evolved from not just a provider of these upgrades and these enhancements. You know, we began engineering products. Not just external hard drives and acceleration products, but even the internal service parts that let somebody upgrade their iMac, let somebody open a system, let somebody put a battery into their Mac. So OWC became kind of the brand for our solutions. MacSales is still a great place. One of our channel partners, our own channel partner, to buy our products, but it's one of many now that resell and support OWC goods. You know, OWC is now the brand, quite frankly, the premier brand, you know, manufacturing engineering solutions for Mac and PC.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you didn't even really need a video to know how to change out a product in the in your Mac. These days, they make these Macs so hard to get into. It's like, well, you're going to need a corkscrew, a spatula, and 24 yards of duct tape, and now you can upgrade your Mac. But the good news is, you know, a lot of these upgrades now have become external with USB-C and Thunderbolt, sure. And you know, PCIe docks and such. You can do a lot of that expansion now outside of the unit. So how has that changed things for you?
Well, the good news is there's still things that are internally upgradable. I mean, we still service batteries. A lot of the systems are memory upgradable. Hard drives and SSDs are still a huge part of our business because there's a lot you can do inside, and in places where it is possible, you know, there's nothing better than, you know, going right into the source. But the other beautiful thing with Thunderbolt 3 especially, the bandwidth Thunderbolt 3 gives you allows you to take, you know, a pretty basic system and attach onto it. You can take a Mac Mini today. When Apple's new 2018 Mac Minis, you know, I'm really a fan of that machine. You know, for less than $5,000, you can equip it with an eGPU chassis. You know, we make the Helios GFX, which lets you put in, you know, effectively the same video card you can get in an iMac Pro. You can plug in high-speed storage like a Thunderblade. Our Thunderblade is 8 terabytes, 2,800 megabytes a second, which is pretty equivalent to what you get inside a system. But now you can just plug that in externally, which is unbelievably amazing. And again, for less than $5,000, you can, with a couple displays, equip a Mac Mini to compete with an iMac Pro, costing $15,000. So the future is, you know, pluggable. And going forward, you know, we take a look at what happens when, you know, they soldered everything in these machines, but, you know, the reality is if you look at processors, and we've had soldered processors and non-upgrade for a long, long time. Even it doesn't matter, Mac or PC, the architecture is the architecture. You know, today's chipset does not support tomorrow's processor, but more than anything else, it's the GPU that's been changing. And with an external GPU chassis, in addition, not even having to really worry about what GPU you're getting when you first purchase the machine. You know, if something changes, you know, there's a new codec, whatever that might be, instead of buying a new machine, you just plug a video card into our chassis, and now you've got the latest and the greatest. And without having to buy a new system, you need more storage. You know, you can plug in these high-speed, you know, SSDs, these high-speed via Thunderbolt, you know, 2,000 megabytes a second. That's equivalent to internal speed. And the other beautiful thing is, you know, I'm really not a fan of Apple soldering solid-state drives, and I think that is I won't go. Well, I will go. I almost call it borderline criminal, because you put people in a situation where they're spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a system. If the drive dies, their machine is now effectively rendered non-functional. It's almost a brick. Worse to me is that these technologies are going down over the cost of time. The passage of time. They cost less as time goes on. To force somebody today to say, I need 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes, and to charge them the premium of today, for something they may not need for a year, 2 or 3 years, at which point they're already trying to push the next, latest and greatest, is wrong to me versus, hey, start with 512, start with a terabyte, what do you need today? Because guess what, a year from now, you're going to be able to buy 2 or 3 or 4 terabytes, probably for less than what you're paying for that little upgrade today. So we'll see where it goes. And hopefully Apple changed. The Mac Mini is a fantastic machine. They brought back memory upgradability. That is such a giant thing for people. You don't know necessarily what you never know. Not everybody, I should say, not everybody knows what they're going to need long term, and you shouldn't be forced to buy it all today, as opposed to having those options to kind of incrementally support it, upgrade, enhance it tomorrow. And that's what's always given Mac's value. Apple machines last forever, and the current generation, notwithstanding. All of them, I mean, they go the distance, and they go so much further when you have the ability to keep making them better. We're taking a machine, upgrading 2015 Retinas, which is still a favorite out there. It's got the great keyboard, it's got a little more flexibility, it's got ports. I mean, the professionals love the ports. They really miss the ports on the new MacBook Pros. You can drop one of our SSDs now into that machine and get the same performance of an SSD that you get in a brand new machine. You can put 2 terabytes in that machine for less than $700 and see speeds of 3,300 megabytes a second. That's about a third the price it costs to take a start with a $2,000 machine and upgrade it to 2 terabytes to get there. So flexibility, that keeps these machines valuable, that keeps these machines out there, that keeps people paying the big dollars. So I hope Apple brings back upgradability back into their MacBook Pros. But in the meantime, the future, it's a really cool thing when you can buy a low-end laptop, Mac or PC, with Thunderbolt 3, and when you need that GPU, when you need that storage, when you need that dock, those ports, the 4K video out, even 8K, you simply plug a dock in, plug a drive in, plug an eGPU in, all these things that OWC provides, and now you have a super powerful workstation. So on the bus, in the car, on the airplane, browsing, email, web, basic editing work, you get back to base, get to your office, get to your home, get to wherever it may be, 2 cables plug in, and suddenly it's a machine that's you wouldn't even imagine, and that's something you couldn't do just a few years ago.
Larry, I can see you're a man of few words. Let me wrap this up by just asking you. That's great, fantastic answer. Got a little dark in the middle, but it was good. Tell me about what you're showing that's new here at this show. Let's wrap up with that. What is the Thunderblade and the Thunder Bay, and what are we looking at here?
Sure, the Thunder Bay 6 is right here, up to 84 terabytes. We have a 4-bay version that goes up to 56 terabytes. Extremely high-speed RAID, spinning drives. The Thunderblade is its solid-state, brother, so to speak. This goes up to 8 terabytes, 2,000 megabytes a second. This is our Generation 2 product. It runs super cool. It's super fast, and the price point is 40% lower than it was a year ago. So this thing is, a DIT's, savior, an editor's savior. Whether you're doing data ingest, whether you're doing editing, it's got the performance to do everything. And the super awesome, cool thing we're showing at the show this year is SoftRAID. SoftRAID now supports Windows and Mac. And not only does it support Windows and Mac, you can take a volume from your Mac, plug into your Windows machine, and you have data interoperability. So moving data between a Mac, and we have a lot of folks out there in production do work with multiple environments. They're working on Windows and they're working on Mac. And now you can take a drive right off your Mac, plug it into your Windows system, and go. And that's a RAID. That's just a basic volume. We're talking about RAID arrays. So to have that kind of high-performance RAID, multi-platform like that is really a breakthrough, and nobody else has done it. And I'm pleased to announce from OWC this is now available.
That's fantastic. Have you guys, do you already, or have you ever thought about getting into the network attached storage business?
We are. In fact, our Jupiter is right over here, and Jupiter is a brand new chapter. So,
okay, is that available now?
Yes.
I think we should probably wrap this up because we could talk about this stuff all day long. But Jupiter is the new, and is that, how does it compete with the others very quickly?
Sure, Jupiter is a 5-year evolution. It's not a brand new product by any means. The platform has gone through exceptional evolution over the last few years in terms of how it competes. Well, like anything from OWC, is extremely fast. It honestly outperforms the competition, and we certainly, by and large, underpriced the competition. So more value, more capacity, and a really good price point, and service and support that you just don't find anywhere else.
Larry, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate talking to you.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for getting this on. Appreciate it.
No worries, and that's all the time we have for this wonderful little interview we've done here, but we'll be back with plenty more live from the show floor right here on Live Now.